this Mahasatipatthana Sutta. So last week we covered three out of the four foundations of mindfulness. Anybody here didn't attend last week? Oh, okay. So the summary of what happened last week is basically wherever you place your attention, attention is the mind. Wherever you place your attention, it can be a large area, small area, near or far. Whatever bodily activity you do, it can be standing, sitting, walking, lying down, you need to be mindful of impermanence. So that's the summary, as I try to make it as short as possible. Okay, so now today we move on to the fourth foundation of mindfulness, which is mindfulness of the Dhamma. So different translators use different terms, like Ajahn Tanisaru will say mental qualities, and some will translate as phenomenon. Yeah, so this Dhamma is like the science or the mechanics behind how all these mindfulness of the body, the feelings, and the mind work. So the first three foundation of mindfulness a bit more general, and the fourth foundation is more like the so-called the science behind it. Okay, so there are a few things. I'll try to click. Yes, it works. It's not working again. Yeah, maybe no battery or what, I don't know. Yeah, probably a low bat. Okay, so then I let him change. Okay, so there are a few things. You have five hindrances, five clinging aggregates. Yeah, previous one. Yeah, six sense media. Um, sorry, the previous slide, please. Okay, seven factors for awakening and the four noble truths. So these are part of this mindfulness of the Dhamma. So it's arranged in a way like according to the Four Noble Truths. So the first one and the five hindrances is basically suffering lah, or the symptoms of suffering. Like how do you know you're still not yet enlightened, or how do you know we are still suffering? So we use the five hindrances as a yardstick. So if you're still subject to greed, anger, restlessness, drowsiness, and doubt, that means still not yet enlightened lah. So these are the symptoms of suffering. So these the five hindrances, and then we have the five clinging aggregates. So the four noble truths you all know, right? First noble truth, suffering. Second noble truth, cause of suffering. Third noble truth, cessation of suffering. The fourth noble truth is the noble eightfold path leading to the cessation of suffering. So in the first noble truth, the eighth point. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. The eighth point is basically the five clinging aggregates of suffering. The five clinging aggregates of suffering. So once a person investigate these five clinging aggregates and how it operates through the six sense media, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, the six senses. How these five aggregate operate through these senses, then we have a better idea how clinging take place through our daily cognitive function. And once you understand the cause of suffering, then you investigate the Dhamma, that investigate the phenomena, how the mind cling, how to let go. And the more you investigate, you trigger these seven factors of awakening. So these seven factors of awakening is actually the process of cessation or the symptoms of cessation, which is the third noble truth. And once you have these few points and above, then you get to appreciate the Four Noble Truths in experience. Okay, so this is just my theoretical sharing. So now we're going to go through point by point. What is this five hindrance and all those stuff? Okay, we need to press once. Okay, And it's not working. Okay, never mind. So I will just I'll let you do the clicking. Okay, so we just leave it here, this screen. Okay, so these are the five hindrances. If you look at the left column, then basically that's the five hindrances. You have sensual desire or greed. And the second one is ill will or anger. Third one, sloth and torpor. That means sluggishness or drowsiness of the mind. Then you have restlessness and worry, the opposite of sloth and torpor. That means overexcitement, the mind running all over the place. And the last one is doubt. Yeah. So these are the five hindrances. Okay, then the middle column is basically like sharing with you the temporary method to solve it, the temporary method to overcome it. And the column on the right is the long-term solution. Long-term solution. So for beginners, we cannot straight away tell people go to the right column, right? Because to overcome, for example, greed and anger, you need to be close to enlightenment, non-returner or arahant, to overcome greed and anger. So you can't tell this to beginner. So you need to tell them a more practical step, which is the middle column. So for example, to overcome sensual desire, we do these impurities of the body, foulness of the body, or entering basically any states of concentration. So this one is commentarial um, answer, the commentaries answer, not from the suttas. So if those who recall in the, I think the third or the fourth lesson, I think third lesson, I did mention about this Asubha Sutta, which the Buddha was comparing Asubha practitioners versus Jhana practitioners. So some in the suttas, the traditional impurities of the body meditation cannot enter jhanas. So this is the commentarials version. That means somehow down the line, the commentators believe impurities of the body can enter jhana. So anyway, either you do impurities of the body or enter concentration to temporarily suppress the sensual desire. So this one temporary method. Okay, then the next one, ill will. Then you need to enter, use loving kindness. So may all beings be well and happy, right? So you're going the opposite thought from anger. Yeah, then of course, whether you enter concentration or not depends on how repetitive you do it. Okay, then the third one, sloth and torpor. So we go through it later. So one of the method is perception of light. So a person visualize light, it gives you like temporary brightness. Then it kind of overcome the sloth a bit. But in our routine, we don't visualize light. Yeah, so like in the third or fourth lesson, I did mention if a person visualize for too long, some people may kind of accidentally develop this divine eye, and they may not like what they see. Might be traumatic for some people. So we don't do this perception of light thingy. Yeah, so you mentioned here, you want to overcome sloth and torpor, you say arahant, arahantship. Then the next one, restlessness and worry. So if let's say the mind restless, run here, run there like monkey, you need equanimity, the practice of equanimity. So we reflect on the fourth sublime state. So that is one way to make peace, or basically any of the meditation object. Now you keep on repeating, then the mind will come back basically. So in the sutta, okay, this is the commentarial's answer. But in the sutta itself, the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the way to overcome these five hindrances is basically right effort. Basically, keep on repeating, coming back to mindfulness of impermanence, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back. Keep on reflecting right thought, right thought, right thought. So that's the sutta's method. Okay, then the last one is doubt. Doubt means anything not sure, then you ask, Lord. So that's why I always have Q&A session. You anything not sure, ask. So if you something you're not sure, then you don't ask, then you're forever not sure. So you need to ask and clarify. So these are the five temporary methods to overcome and to kind of overcome this doubt. So this doubt is specifically towards Four Noble Truths, not doubt in mundane things, how the AI operate, how what's the mechanism of this, how to work this thing, not this kind of doubt. Doubt with regard to the Four Noble Truths. So if a person truly see the Four Noble Truths as in they truly experience cessation and the peace or happiness that come from reducing craving, then they have no more doubt in mind because they experience it already, ma. So they know this is the path to the happiness. It's no longer theory, they experience for themselves. So no more doubt. So this is only a stream enterer can overcome this doubt. So if you look at the right-hand column, most of them require a non-returner or arahant to overcome these hindrances. So some people will come to my class and say, Bante, I meditate and meditate. My mind run here, run there, run here, run there, like monkey like that. Not suited for meditation. I think I'm not built for meditation. Maybe I quit. I don't want to meditate anymore. I joined this class. I think I'm not suited. Then I say, you are very normal. Imagine if you first time come, got no more hindrance. Then congratulations. You're enlightened already. Congratulations. The reason why we still have this, that means we still have room for improvement. Then we need to learn some more, improve. Lah. Yeah, so this is hindrance. That means normal. If you have any of the hindrance, very normal. That means we still need to keep practicing. All right? Okay, next slide. Okay, so these are method to overcome sloth and torpor. So usually people overcome sluggishness, meditate, fall asleep, and then do walking meditation. Walking meditation. So prior to the hybrid session, this place got no space to walk lah. So now a bit more spacious. No, maybe some of you like to do walking. So I may demonstrate walking. So for those at home in Zoom, I'm sorry if you're unable to see me, unless there's a cameraman that want to shift the camera. If not, I do a demonstration. Okay, so usually for formal walking meditation, okay, who never do walking meditation before? Okay, I have a few people. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the formal walking meditation. Actually, there's no right or wrong way to do walking meditation. So most of the walking meditation style is kind of inspired by certain monastic rules. Okay, for example, when we do walking meditation, some of the physical traits that we kind of prepare ourselves is to cast our eye downwards. Yeah, cast the eye downward, just like Buddha statue gaze downwards, right? You don't see Buddha looking around. So when you do walking meditation, it's not shopping, right? Wow, so nice, so nice, so nice. So we are not doing that for the formal walking. So the eyes gaze downwards. And for the hands, either you place in front or you place behind. So when you walk that time, it's not swinging. So it's not like normal jalan-jalan. So it's you place behind. So the less you swing, supposedly less distraction. Less distraction. So when you walk that time, um, so in the suttas, there's no speed with regard to the walking. There's no mention of speed. In fact, there's a sutta on walking meditation, Jangama Sutta, that talks about walking meditation can improve your stamina. So it kind of implies that you need to walk fast to improve your stamina. If you walk too slow, you can't really improve your stamina. So again, for my class, there's no speed limit. You want to walk fast or slow, totally up to you. Totally up to you. Depends on what kind of meditation you're doing also. So usually like in the maybe Burmese tradition generally, or those doing Vipassana, they might be walking slower. You might find they're walking a bit slower. You need to observe the feet moving, rising and falling and all the sensations, all these things. So you might find them walking a bit slower. you might find them walking a bit slower. Then maybe the Thai forest tradition, if they do samatha meditation, then they be walking faster. So they one foot, one syllable. They chant Bhutto. So Bhutto, Bhutto. Then they turn around Bhutto and Bhutto, Bhutto. So they somehow walk faster. So the idea is not so much on the walking, but what you do in the mind. Yeah, right reflection, what you do in the mind. Yes, yes, I have a question. Bhutto means the quality of awakening, the Buddha's quality. Yeah, so it's part of the nine qualities of the Buddha. So one of them is Bhutto. Okay, yeah, so we kind of chant that. Okay, so like we mentioned earlier, in the first three foundation of mindfulness, whatever activity you can be mindful also. Can be walking, can be mindful. So if you walk, you can be mindful impermanence, you can do vipassana, or you can do samatha. And the area of attention doesn't matter. It can be focused on the feet, you can focus on the breath, can be focusing on the entire body, can be focused on the entire surrounding area, just like doing loving kindness, all directions. Doesn't matter. You have choose one, then you just keep doing. And then you play around with the parameters. Um, the lengthwise depends on which area you're walking. So let's say I walk here, then that would be my pathway, one end to one end. So I walk one round, walk, then I turn, then I keep walking, walk to the other end, and then I turn. Right? So there's no right or wrong way to do the walking. So like some places they have like a Bodhi tree or a stupa, then they walk in a circular motion. So there's no fixed way of walking meditation. So of course, we say this formal practice because in daily life, you won't be doing this when you walk to work. Yeah, you walk to work, you're late already, rising, then finish, gone, late for work. So this is just for formal practice. Okay. Right. So there's this sharing, this sutta called this Chapala Sutta. Yeah, not Chapalang. So talks about this left-hand disciple of the Buddha, Venerable Moggallana. So it's the monk foremost in psychic power. So before he became enlightened, when he meditate, also fall asleep. Nodding problem. So he meditate and fall asleep and fall asleep. So the Buddha happened to walk past and saw him nodding. So I'm sleeping. So the Buddha gave some tips, some advice, and gave him a whole list of solutions to like kind of try out. Yeah. So the first, maybe next slide. Okay. So the first thing to do, if you let's say you meditate, you observe, oh yeah, this drowsy sensation come already, this sleepy sensation come already. So the Buddha's advice is don't attend to that perception, don't pursue it. Very interesting. A lot of meditators will say, okay, if let's say you feel this tiredness come, then be aware of it, aware, then gone already. You're aware, then you gonna suck into the dreamland, then finish, then you're sleeping. Yeah. So I give one analogy. It's just like, for example, our awareness is a bit like we are meteorologists, like a meteorology station. And then let's say the station detect a tornado coming to your way. Do you go towards the tornado or you run away from the tornado? Who run to the twister one? Nobody, right? All run away from the twister, right? Correct? Yeah, so the same thing. Run, run away from the sleepy feeling. That means don't pay attention to sleepy feeling because it's so addictive, so nice. Once you pay attention to it only, or you try to analyze it only, then finish, gone case. You get sucked into it already. Then you're sleeping, then you don't know. And then you sleep, then you think meditation is so peaceful. wow, my mind settled down, rest so quickly. I was sleeping. So it's avoid. The Buddha said avoid. So let's say when we talk about mindfulness or the four elements, we just specifically stick to the four elements, just the hardness and softness, the hot and cold, the fire element, the wind element is the movement, the water element, moist and dry. That's all. Right? We don't care about sleepy feeling. Avoid sleepy feeling. So very important. Okay. Okay, so the first thing to do, this one not in sequence. So the first thing to do is investigate the Dhamma. So for example, investigate the four elements, investigate impermanence. So this is the first thing to investigate. That means based on your evidence, that you investigate the impermanent nature of those phenomena. But if let's say you investigate, then let's say the thing disappeared, then you're too tired. Then there's a next line of defense. Recall Dhamma teachings. That means re-examine, analyze some teaching. Have like a mental debate or whatever. Question the teaching. So give you some energy. If that still doesn't work, the more you question, the more you stray off and go somewhere else. Then the next line of defense is do chanting. Repeat aloud the Dhamma as you have heard and memorize it. So in the group setting, please don't chant aloud. If you do at home alone, then you chant. Okay. So this one you chant in your mind. So that's why in our routine, we kind of repeat certain verses over and over again. So it's a bit like chanting, but in the mind. Okay, then if let's say all the mental thing doesn't work, then you can start to get physical. And pull your ear, pull your ear. Yeah. So like punishment. This is not punishment. This is Buddha's recommendation. Not like in class, teacher asks you pull your ear and stand up, all those. Okay, next slide. Then, of course, we have the washroom. If you want to wash your face, you can go and wash your face in the toilet. Then this one, next one, perception of light. Yeah. So a person, let's say too dull, then they visualize light, then they can keep themselves awake. So in our class, normally we don't turn off all the lights. Because it's too dark, it's like sleeping time. At home, do you turn on the light when you sleep? No, right? You turn off, then you can sleep better, man. Yeah. So when you turn off all the light, then meditate. Oh, like very, like you can sleep better like that. So more conducive to fall asleep. So sometimes you turn on the light. Not that we purposely want to visualize light. There's some probably psychological kind of thing to keep yourself awake. So we normally don't purposely visualize light. Okay, then the next one is walking. If let's say all else fails, you walk also can pingsan. You walk like as though the police test you for drinking alcohol like that. You walk also can slant sideways and want to follow. That means you're very tired, exhausted. Then you should lie down and rest. So the last one is, take a nap or lie down mindfully. So of course the Buddha said lie down on the right side, but of course up to you lah. So down here in a physical class, we try not to lie down. If you really want to lie down, you can sit on a chair and lean on the wall somewhere. Yeah, and you can rest with your back seated. Okay, so that's for the overcoming of hindrances. Any questions so far with regard to the hindrances? No, all can overcome. So later I don't want to see any hindrance. Okay, next one is these five aggregates. So this is supposed to be like basic Buddhism, but the science behind it. Very cheap stuff. Okay, so if you see the blue boxes on top, form, feelings and sensations, perception, mental formations, consciousness. So these are the five aggregates. And normally they can be classified into two kinds. The form aggregate is the material aspect. Then the next four, feelings all the way to consciousness, is the mental aspect. So basically, the Pali word is nama rupa. Nama is mind, rupa is form, yeah, or name and form. Yeah, so you have mind, matter. So this is the mind, then the form is the matter. So form is defined as the four elements: earth, fire, wind, water, which is very familiar, right? We talk about in mindfulness of the body. So if you miss the previous lesson, don't worry. Just think of the five aggregates. And the next one, next aggregate, is the feeling aggregate. So feeling aggregate is again the second foundation of mindfulness, which is mindfulness of feelings. So you have pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. Very repetitive, right? So if you, let's say you miss the previous lesson, don't worry. You just think of this one. Then the third one, perception, is basically based on what you've encountered before, all the words and all the jargons and all the past experiences you learned before. Then whatever you are in contact now, then the mind needs to quickly base on something to kind of label it, kind of recognize it. So that is called perception. Like why you're able to read the words, it's called perception. Yeah, why you're able to tell apart the different colors, we call it perception. Okay. Then the next one, mental formation. Mental formation is basically the moment the thought is being formed. So that is mental formations. So in the four sublime states, when we talk about karma, mental formations is also karmic formations. It's the same thing, huh? Mental formations. That's the fourth aggregate. And the fifth one, consciousness, is basically your attention. When your awareness, your attention land on something, so that's your consciousness. So normally we say the six sense consciousness, huh? Your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, six senses. So if you tell Western scientists six sense, then they think six sense what ESP. So no, the sixth sense is our mind, our thinking. Whatever we imagine in the mind, so that's the sixth sense law. Only you yourself can experience it. So the eye consciousness is basically what we experience with our eyes. Ear consciousness, whatever we experience with our ears, nose, tongue, body, and so on. So the different senses. So how does these five things work? So these five things basically five in one. It comes in a package. You cannot like separate it. It's five in one. So for example, if let's say you look at the screen, now your attention is to the screen, correct? That's using your which sense? Eye, using your eye. So that's eye consciousness. So the so-called formula, the Buddhist formula, they will say depending on your eye organ, depending on the external object, the physical object, then eye consciousness arise. So the consciousness somehow appear afterwards, not before. Maybe in some other religion, they define consciousness as a permanent observer, always present. But in Buddhism, if you want to analyze, want to see impermanence, we have to see consciousness afterwards. We have to break down like afterwards as a moment to moment function. It's not like always there all the time. So it appears based on various conditions, based on your eyes are working, the external object is there, then eye consciousness arise. And the meeting of these three things, your eye, object, eye consciousness, the meeting, the connection of this thing is called contact. Just like electric circuit, like contact, and then the light bulb will light up. Yeah, contact. Okay, so when you pay attention to the screen, are you able to identify the colors and the words? So that's using perception. And when you look at these various colors and words, Do you arise like feelings? Do you like the color? Don't like the color? You like the design? Don't like the design? Have? Or you find it neutral? So that's part of feelings. That's part of feelings. Whether you like it, don't like it, or neutral. So that's part of feelings. And then this screen itself is something kind of tangible, right? So we call it the four elements, external four elements. And then we also have the internal four elements. Internal four elements is when you look at the screen, are there any tension to your eyes or within the body? What's the movement? How does looking at the screen cause any sensational movement in the body? So that's the internal four elements. Internal four elements. External four elements is the physical object lah. Is it hot? What's the temperature, right? So that's the external elements. Then there's internal elements. So that's why we talk about mindfulness internally or externally. So wherever you place your attention, you can be mindful of impermanence. Okay, then the mental formation is the moment the thought arise, appear. So that's mental formation. So normally I want to do an experiment to understand what is mental formation and consciousness. You can do follow me this experiment. We point our finger upward, just like baby Buddha. Okay, so now you're going to point. Okay, so with a relaxed mind, you don't have to purposely focus on one thing. You just let the mind kind of roam around freely. So your finger now is basically your like GPS tracker to take note. Where is your attention now? Or what are you paying attention to right now, every moment? Yeah, some are pointing to me. Some people are always paying attention to the ceiling, right? You must track lah. Where's your mind? Huh? I give you a few seconds to explore. So if I'm talking, then probably your attention is to me lah. Correct. But if I stop talking, where is your attention now? Okay, who totally cannot trace your attention one? Huh? Cannot Cannot track your attention Like if let's say you're looking at me, that means you're focusing on me, right? So that's your attention. If you're looking at the screen, that means your attention on the screen So that jumping is called mental formation. Every time you jump, new formation, jump, new formation. Or anytime a new element appear, that's a new formation. Yeah, new element, new sensation appear, that's a new formation. So it's every moment, something new appear, and that's a new formation. Okay? Or a new feeling appear, that's a new formation. A new image appear, that's a new formation. Yeah, so it's every moment of everything. So that's part of the five aggregates. So it's five in one. So when you pay attention to one thing, all five aggregates are there. So when you're watching the breath, five aggregates are there. When you're visualizing the various parts of the body, all five aggregates are there. So whatever meditation object you're doing, we are not training the four elements. We are not training the 32 parts of the body. We're actually trying to understand the five aggregates because we're using the five aggregates to observe any phenomenon. It's the mind. Yeah, your mind matter to understand any phenomenon. So the Buddha, even though, for example, he used the breath meditation to reach enlightenment, why is he able to teach so many different kinds of meditation objects? Because the concept behind it, the science behind it is basically the five clinging aggregates. It's the same thing. All right? Any question? No question, Okay. Next slide. Okay, then now is the seven factors of awakening. I covered this before in the breath meditation. So if a person were to investigate impermanence in all of the phenomenon, can be the five aggregates to the breath, to the 32 parts of the body, to the four elements, whatever they think of impermanence, Yeah, they're mindful of this their meditation object, investigate impermanence. Then the third factor is they putting right effort, keep on repeating. And if the three conditions are kind of very good, it will trigger rapture, detachment. So when there's real detachment taking place, then rapture will arise and this joy will arise. And then the joy will eventually disappear, become tranquility, then eventually lead to concentration and then equanimity. Huh? So this is the process of insight, nothing to do with the jhanas. And this insight process. So this sequence, you can kind of like imagine is correlated to your level of desire. So for example, if a person is at step one or before mindfulness, then the craving level is this high lah. If let's say they go lower, then the craving also will drop lah. Yeah, so let's say you meditate halfway, you have some rapture, some tranquility, then you think, that's it already lah. Then you can start to daydream. Then you cling to your thoughts, cling to the five hindrances. Then everything will go back up again. Your craving will go back up again. Yes. No, not yet. So this is just a glimpse of the truth. A glimpse of the truth. That means this is just a gateway. After the gateways, you have a long journey. Still a long journey. Yeah, not seven factor enlightenment. So not yet. So if you attended the breath meditation, I think the Buddha mentioned or scripture mentioned, the seven factors have to be developed fully. Then you can reach release or liberation. So this is just like the symptoms, you're on the right track. Just like a signboard to tell you're on the right track. Then you need to keep doing lah, keep letting go lah. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the same thing, wherever you place your attention, internally, externally, then you need to observe this origination and passing away. So this is the stock formula or the chorus of the sutta. So every time the Buddha mentioned mindfulness of the body, then he'll mention this, the same thing. After mindfulness of feelings, then this thing will repeat again. Mindfulness of state of mind, and this thing repeat again. So this thing repeat over and over again. That means this is a very important aspect. You need to be mindful of impermanence. That means mentally you need to tell yourself rising and passing. A lot of people just observe only, aware lah. If you're aware and do not label rising and passing, there is no different from watching TV. TV also a lot of movement in the screen, but you watch it and you get entertained, right? Entertained by the TV show, right? So you need to, we call it appropriate attention. 看山不是山, see mountains and not mountain. Now, whatever you observe, you have to see things as not as it is to reduce the craving. If you see things the normal way as it is with greed and anger, they cannot reduce the craving. Yeah, so you need to reflect on impermanence. That means remind yourself impermanence, to the knowledge of remembrance. Okay, so eventually you lead to not clinging. And the next slide. Okay, so the conclusion. So if a person were to practice this, including the seven factors of enlightenment, you keep on observing. The Buddha said 7 years. That means as long as you are awake, then you continuously do it for 7 years. It is possible to either reach enlightenment, and if you're not enlightened, and then you can become a non-returner. That means a person free from greed and anger. Free from greed and anger. Yeah, so 7 years. Then the Buddha gonna give discount. I say if you're more hardworking, 7 months. You're more hardworking, 7 weeks. Then 7 days. The fastest 7 days. Yeah, so I don't know. See how hardworking you are. So this is the conclusion of the sutta. All right. Any other questions from the floor or from Zoom. This is the end of the class or end of the theory. Yes. Yeah. Externally. So I give an example earlier. So if you look at the screen, you can be your attention can be outside or inside. Because our attention cannot be inside all the time. So some people may say, oh, must bring the mind inside, bring the mind inside. Then okay lah. Then once they go shopping, then they have to look outside ma. Then then they want to buy, have a lot of craving again. No? So you train yourself both internally, externally. You need to be mindful of impermanence. Okay. Yep. Question. Either arahant or non-returner. Depends on how far you drop, and depends on what stage of realization you reach. Only you can know for yourself. Hmm. Okay. Any other questions?
Ajahn, we have 14 participants online, and
Okay.
we have one sister who wants to ask a
Okay. Yes.
question. Sister Eileen, you can go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Bante. Yeah, Bante. Hello, Bante.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Good evening, Bante. Now, Bante, I got a question. Does all being have body and mind and five aggregates? Except human and animal. Does
Mm.
the other four dreams does they have any aggregates?
Yeah, very interestingly, not all beings have five aggregates. So according to the 31 planes of existence, there's
Mm.
a certain realm with four aggregates. Yeah, only the mind and no matter. Or some realm with matter and no mind. Yeah, so there's very weird beings. I do not know how they operate, so don't ask me. So we just talk about human beings, how we operate. So that's why the Buddha is a teacher of Deva and humans. Yeah, there are certain beings that are conducive to reflect on these teachings. Like some, for example, very small microorganisms or maggots or what, no, their consciousness level a bit too low or they're
Uh-huh.
unable to reflect. Yeah.
Uh. But those without I mean those other rooms like Deva realms, right? They
Mm,
can feel the happiness though they don't have a physical body, right?
mm.
Yeah. And such as like ghosts or health dream, right? They got suffering. So does that mean if these are without the physical body, is it that but they got soul and spirit,
We call it subtle body. So they do have a kind of body, but not the flesh and blood body.
not the flesh and blood, that's
Mm.
right. So they would have like soul or spirit lah, to feel the five aggregates lah.
Okay. So the technically kind of correct answer. Normally, the Buddhist community don't like to use the word soul.
Mm.
Yeah. So we just use there's a mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Or they have a mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah,
Mm.
okay, okay. So it is just like human, we have this not only human beings, all beings also have body and mind.
Yep. Most. Yeah.
Uh,
Most beings.
and they also have the five khandha lah, the aggregates lah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Most beings.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Most.
Otherwise we won't have like karma where we have past karma, right? Those are in the ghost stream,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, they feel angry, then they will take revenge on us, right?
Mm. Okay, so
If
in
they do,
Hungry Ghost realm, they
uh,
normally don't harm humans
uh,
because they're too hungry already.
but our
No
karmic
energy,
creditors,
no energy to harm human. So
okay. What about
normally when we look at movie, right? Look at
uh,
TV shows or movie, have the culture. We believe that ghosts can harm humans. Actually, those beings that harm
Ah,
humans are the earthbound spirits, earthbound devas.
oh,
They are not the
earthbound
hungry
deva.
ghosts.
They will not harm human. Oh,
Not hungry ghosts. Hungry ghosts, no energy to harm human.
okay. What about our karmic creditors?
Karmic creditors
Ah,
can be anybody lah, can be
yeah,
human.
yeah. Our karmic creditors, they would have aggregates, right? If let's say, we have something to do with the past life.
Yeah, can be anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can. Thank you, Bante. Bante, another question, during Buddha's time, what kind of meditation is being praised by the Buddha, huh?
Anything that can reach enlightenment, then that will be praised by the Buddha.
Not specifically on the first, second, third, four jhana, right?
Um, okay, so the first four jhanas is classified as right concentration in the Noble Eightfold Path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this the meditation that can eliminate hindrances, the five hindrances?
Okay, so if a person does jhanas only, it can
Uh,
temporarily, I would say, suppress the hindrances, but
okay.
doesn't overcome the defilement.
Oh,
Mm.
we still have the holding defilement.
Yeah, doesn't overcome the defilement. So the Buddhist strategy is to
Uh,
cross to the other shore. So we have to abandon the samsaric shore and cross
uh,
over to the other shore, which is Nibbana. Yeah.
okay.
So along the way, um, like there's the ocean, is like
Right.
something got tsunami, got big waves. So
Mm,
concentration or jhanas is a bit like calming the waters only, calming
mm,
the waters, but we haven't swim across to the other side. So the reflection on impermanence or like the vipassana is like
uh,
swimming, swimming across to the other
okay.
side. Yeah.
Okay. And also, Bante, you have mentioned a conclusion. Why develop this four frame reference?
Can you repeat the question?
On this?
I think your sound is breaking up. Maybe your connection isn't that.
Your
Maybe
this
you type your question,
uh,
then later the
very
MP will
reception.
read out your
Better now,
question.
Bante?
Yeah, you type out your
Yeah, the
question.
connection not very good. It's very good. Are you able to hear me?
Sister, do you want to
Hello?
type out your question and
Yeah,
then
Bante.
Bante can address it later?
Yeah, Bante,
Okay, can.
it's loud. Can you hear?
Okay, anyone else want to ask questions? Today OT already. Here. No more questions? Okay, we go for a 5-minute break while this Sister Eileen type a question. Then we come back for the guided meditation session. Make sure your back is upright and the rest of the body relaxed. So today's practice is we try to apply what we've learned today, but we're going to do a bit of short boost of this concentration first before we do the investigation. Okay, so now we're going to feel the sensations of the body. So we call this mindfulness of the four element sensations. So as you feel the sensations, earth, fire, wind, water elements, then we're going to wish it well and happy. So don't have to purposely control it. Let it appear by itself And then we just intentionally wish it well and happy. So the mind running around is normal, huh? Mental formations, or you find it restlessness. All beings will have mental formation. If you don't have mental formation, probably you're not human really. So whatever sensation appear, then we wish it well and happy. Then we see how far the mind can settle down. So that's part of mindfulness or mind states. The mind without aversion or the mind with reduced aversion. If you find the mind quite settled down, like the rate of settling is negligible, or this is your maximum point, cannot settle any further, then we call this your neutral baseline emotion. Still a mind without concentration. Huh? And now we are going to wish, may all beings in all directions be well and happy, above, below, and all across all directions. May all beings be well and happy. So we call this the expanded mind. Don't have to push, let it extend by itself. However far it wish to extend, doesn't matter. And in that widened area of attention, we are going to perceive all beings as the four elements or the five aggregates. Don't have to visualize how they look like. So basically, whatever sensation that appear, we are going to wish, may all beings be well and happy. So this is the lowest common denominator. Huh? All beings made of the elements or the aggregates. Any sensation appear, then we mentally recite, may all beings be well and happy. Okay, so let's say for those who are a bit drowsy, then you might need to increase the rate of reflection. So the focus is on the element sensation, not on the drowsiness. So make sure you can hear yourself in the mind reciting, may all beings be well and happy. Okay, if the conditions are right, you keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. This loving kindness may lead one to the first level of concentration or the first jhana, indicated by some increment in joy and happiness compared to the neutral baseline state from earlier. So this to identify what is a concentrated mind. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing, may all beings be well and happy. Keep turning the Dhamma wheel. Okay, now we're going to add the insight portion or the wisdom portion. We're going to cultivate a more unconditional or more detached loving kindness. So now we change the recitation to rising and passing. So any sensation that appears, you just recite rising and passing, and we keep on repeating. And if the conditions are right, keep on putting effort, rising and passing, repeat rising and passing. They will trigger a different kind of joy, called the rapture, the 7 factors of awakening. It's like a chain reaction. And regardless of what you experience, keep on reciting, rising and passing. So whatever factors that appear, they are just the signboard. It's not the end goal, it's pointing to the goal. So you don't have to langgar the signboard. Okay, let's say the joy of detachment start to disappear. One may experience a neutral but more alert, more refreshing kind of experience. So we call that equanimity. And the same thing, regardless of what you experience, keep on reciting, rising, and passing. Okay, we have a temporary recharge of this equanimity. Then we can investigate the 6 sense bases and the 5 aggregates. So basically, it's the GPS exercise we did earlier. It means without deliberately expanding the mind. So now it's a freestyle awareness. Huh? You just let your mind kind of roam around freely by itself. And wherever it moves, you just need to, again, label rising and passing. And there are various ways to do the investigation. So one of the ways is you split the 5 aggregates one by one. Even though it's 5 in one, you can do it one by one. So you can start off with the form aggregate. So basically that's the 4 element sensations. Then you can observe wherever your attention lands, the 4 elements will be there, or any of the 4 elements will be there. So the first question you can ask yourself through your own observation, are these elements permanent or impermanent? Is it the same sensation all the time? The same intensity all the time? Or is it always changing? So that's the first question, your observation. So this is like very scientific way to observe. So do not force the elements to change in any way. You want to see things as they are. So it is evidence-based. And the second question you can ask yourself is that if you think these sensations is truly yours, can you have total control of these elements? Like, can you tell the temperature to be the same forever, same heat element forever? And if you cannot control it and you try to insist and it doesn't meet your expectation, does it result in suffering? Not getting what you want is suffering. That's the first aggregate, so we can do the same thing for the other aggregates. So like the second aggregate is the feeling aggregate. So feeling is defined as pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. So the same thing, wherever you place your attention, together with the elements, you have the feelings, whether you find it pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Then the same thing, and ask yourself, first question, are the feelings always the same or are they changing? Is it pleasant feelings all the time or unpleasant feelings all the time? Is the intensity the same or changing? And the second question, are the feelings truly you or yours? If the feelings is truly self, then you should have total control of the feelings. So this one is everybody's favorite. I want to have pleasant feelings forever. I don't want to have painful feelings at all. So you try to control, will there be any tension or suffering? Then we can do the same thing for the third aggregate, which is the perception aggregate. So perception is basically based on the past things you've learned before or you experienced before or the words you learned before. Then we try to give a label to our current experience, our current contact. So the same thing, wherever your attention is placed, then the mind will kind of give a label to the experience, like calling it the earth element or the fire element and whatever. So based on past memories, and you kind of give a label to that experience. So the same thing. First question, are the perceptions the same or are they changing? So the labels you give, is it the same word all the time or are they different labels every time there's a new contact? Okay, then the second question you can ask yourselves are perception and memories truly self? If perception and memory is truly self, then you should have total control of these perception and memories. Again, it's everybody's favorite. Then you can tell yourself to remember everything. So all the students' favorite. Remember all your lessons and don't have to refer to notes. So if you try to control your perceptions, will it cause any tension and suffering? Okay, then we can do the same thing for the fourth aggregate, which is mental formations. So mental formation is basically anything that appears that's in mental formation. Can be the elements that appear, feelings that appear. Then you can ask yourself based on your observation, are the formations the same or are they always changing, a different formation? And some people might be wondering, why are we observing all this? So understanding the nature of the five aggregates will really help you in your meditation in future, whether you're doing samatha or vipassana. Because the way you place your attention or fixate the mind, if it brings tension and suffering, it means you're doing it wrongly. Okay, so that's the first question for mental formation. And the second question, are the mental formations truly self? Are they truly you or yours? If it's truly self, that means you should have 100% control of the formations. You can tell, again, meditators supposedly favorite. I want total stillness, no formation at all. You try, you try control. And you try to control these formations, will it give you tension and suffering? So the Buddhist method is not to empty the ocean, is to swim across the ocean. So the middle way is mindful of impermanence, or the simile of the lotus growing above the mud. We are not supposed to remove the mud. No? The mud is always there. It's to grow above the mud. Yeah? So the mental formation will always be there. Karmic formations, karma is always there. You cannot empty karmas. Okay, then we can move on to the fifth aggregate, this consciousness aggregate. So that's your awareness or your attention. So wherever your attention goes, then you can ask yourself, this attention, is it staying the same place, or are they moving around all the time? Without controlling, you want to see things as they are. You just observe this attention, the nature of this attention. So don't worry, if the attention moving around, that's not attention deficit disorder. Okay, then the second question you can ask yourself, if your consciousness is truly self, truly yours, then you should have total control over this attention. And again, every meditator's favorite. You can tell your mind, your attention, stay at one place forever. I want to concentrate, stay at one place forever. So you try to control, will it cause you tension and suffering? Okay, and if let's say this is too much thinking for you, then we stick back to the first method. That means wherever your attention lands, whatever you detect, you just mentally recite rising and passing. So this is like the most basic baseline insight practice. Okay, and before we conclude this session due to time constraints, same gentle reminder: in all activities, whether you're standing, sitting, walking, or lying down, you can be mindful of impermanence. And with that, we can gently open our eyes, formally end the session, and formally generate right thought. Okay, any questions? I think Eileen typed the question. Okay, let me start off with her question first.
Okay, the question
Okay,
from
but
Sister Eileen is, can one practice more in Dharma, Sila, and less on meditation?
Can you repeat what's the first two words?
Can one practice more in Dharma, Sila, and lesser meditation?
Dharma and Sila and less in meditation. So I would presume what you mean is the theory and the precepts, yeah, and less on the meditation. So in terms of Noble Eightfold Path, you need the right mindfulness, you need the right effort, the right thought, and optionally, or if better still, right concentration. So that would make up the meditation part. So if a person have just theory, they might have some understanding, improve the right understanding part. They may generate some right thought, but not complete enough. Yeah, so you need the whole package.
Okay, Ajahn, we have one more question
Okay.
from Ray Fang. It says, when I contemplate on foulness of body, I feel negative when coming to terms of the true nature of the body. What should be the right understanding or thought to overcome that?
What's the emotion again?
When I contemplate on foulness of body, I feel negative.
Or negative?
Yeah.
Okay. I do not know what you mean by negative. If you talk about in terms of dispassion, that's encouraged. But if you talk about depression, then that's not encouraged, and that is very negative. So that's why in all the foundations of the body, there's a great emphasis on mindful of impermanence. So a lot of other styles, other meditation, or the common meditation method when they think about impurities of the body is just to think of that part of the body. So they just visualize that part and seldom reflect on impermanence. So if a person visualize something disgusting, they have unpleasant feelings, then they just stay there forever. Then they just maintain that unpleasant feeling. Then if the mind react with aversion, then you get this depression and all those negative things. So in our routine, we start off with loving kindness first. So we kind of wish that part of the body well and happy to reduce the aversion part. Then you think of impermanence. Then you get more holistic kind of detachment. Huh? So hopefully that helps. How about people on the ground? Any questions? No? Okay, then we end the session. So see any announcements?